Not supposed to be on here.
Wait, not you. Hi, Antoine. How you doing?
Oh my goodness. Okay.
Hi. Welcome to the Madness Collective. We are trying to sort some things out. I am Preston. My co-host is Antoine, who you already know. Our guest co-host tonight, Sarah and Danielle. Hey. Hey.
And yeah, Sarah go figure it out in a minute.
Turn it down just a little.
Just keep talking.
Okay. Hey, Dion. All right, what's up? So tonight, first of all, I'm back. Did you guys miss me? Yes, you did. Just put it in the comments. Say, hey, girl, hey, what's up? So I miss y'all. How about that? Okay, right. So I'm back, and Trump is guilty as fuck. So awesome. Listen, May has been amazing. Surgery with a minor complication, notwithstanding. But look, Kendrick dropped some gems on my birthday, and Orange Hitler got hit with 34 counts. Yes. Okay, let's go, May. Hallelujah. Speaking of crimey, also in the headlines, Rolling Stone did a piece cataloging a lot more shit that Puffy did. Again, it's given sociopath. The Hollywood Bowl held a 30th anniversary of The Lion King, a live-to-film concert event. Northwest, the daughter of Kanye and Kim, performed I Can't Wait to Be King. We'll talk about it. Okay. To be clear, she was rapping. She was singing, not rapping. American Airlines is about to have to cut a big-ass check to a group of Black men. We'll talk about that. And then Negro League players, baseball players, are finally getting their flowers. Yay! All that and more on this episode of
The Madness Collective.
We'll get that a little bit more smooth. Hey, Sarah!
Hi! I did a Vanna thing.
What did you say, Danielle?
I said I did a Vanna thing on the Madness Collective.
Oh, okay. Hey, guys. So we are trying a foursome tonight. Ooh, okay.
Things were going really well until I said, I'm trying not to spill my wine. And then my wine went everywhere. And now I especially need this wine. And I may not get my security deposit back. Let's just put it that way.
Damn.
Well,
no, if it's red wine, you need a bunch of salt. Pour some salt all over it and let it sit for a minute. And then it soaks it up.
It's a wall. Yeah, it's a wall. It's a wall. So, yeah. It's not like a salt thing.
Sarah, I don't know if Danielle going to try and speak to this, but you can blame Danielle because she's the one who spilled, coffee?
I am blaming her. She definitely jinxed me. Like, I was like, we're not spilling. She goes, yeah, I just spill. We be spilling tonight. It's like,
mine just spilled on my coffee tablecloth and on the floor. So my floor is a little sticky. I didn't get to really clean it up the way I really, really need to, but good times.
Mine projectile launched everywhere.
Okay, this will be interesting with the audio, but we'll give it a shot. What's up, Trish? What's up, Kai? Khadijah? What's up, Colin? Hi, guys. So I pretty much got my stamina back. I did miss you guys so much. Although I did sleep a lot, so that was helpful.
Good.
I know it says angry host. I promise I'm not always an angry host. Sometimes I am angry, but not always. But we're going to get that sorted out. So before we talk about the main topics, though, I don't know if you guys saw that Michelle Obama's mother passed away, Marian Robinson. She passed away at 86, and she was born on South Side Chicago. Her father, though, moved from Alabama, so great migration. But she was born in Chicago, and she was born in 1937. Just think about all the things that she witnessed, and then her daughter became first lady. Like, that's a span. So, hey, Karen. So, yeah, I just wanted to give her a quick shout out. And, yeah, of course, we're going to talk about Trump because, yes, what a fucking day.
Yeah.
Awesome times. But before that, there was another situation in another courtroom in Detroit. So, Antoine, you want to see what happens with this one?
I'll go ahead and play it. Yeah, this is gonna be interesting.
I'm here. Don't worry, I'm here.
If you're tuning in for the first time, just roll with us, okay?
Yeah.
Doesn't normally happen.
Very,
I don't know why I didn't.
it's mad around here.
Yeah, give me a
It is
second.
madness.
Yes, Colin said America is ratchet and off the chain. Facts.
So are we sometimes.
Okay, here it is. Here it is. Okay.
He also said major props to Antoine for holding it down. Okay, hold on. Go.
Thank you.
Yes, Antoine killed it. All right, don't say
I don't know if we have volume. We don't have volume. At least I can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
I can't. Can anyone else?
I can't either. No.
Okay.
No volume.
Okay, 1 second.
Oh, okay. Hey. But yes, thank you, Antoine, for holding it down.
Okay, yeah.
Shout out.
There we go. There we go. Okay. We go start it over one more time. Okay, here we go.
With the tech.
Assistant Public Defender Natalie Tate for Mr. Flores, who should be present in Zoom.
Can hear it now, right?
Yep.
Mr. Harris, are you driving?
Actually, I'm pulling into my doctor's office, actually. So just give me 1 second. I'm parking right now.
You stationary?
I'm pulling in right now at this second. Yes, I am.
All right. What are we doing?
Your Honor, we are respectfully requesting an adjournment in this matter, up possibly 2 to 4 weeks that the court would allow.
So maybe I don't understand something. This is a driving while license suspended,
That is correct, Your Honor.
and he was just driving, and he didn't have a license.
That is with the charges, Your Honor, yes.
No, I'm looking at his
Yes.
record. He doesn't have a license. He's suspended, and he's just driving.
His face.
That is correct, Your Honor.
Both of their faces. The judge.
I don't even know why he would do that. So defendant's bond is revoked in this matter. Defendant is to turn himself into the Washington County Jail by 6 p.m. today. Failure to turn himself in will result in a bench warrant with no bond.
Oh. And this is the moment to realize he really fucked up.
Not to zoom in. Not to zoom in.
Yeah.
So here's what I love
really
about
thought this was a skit.
What'd you say, Danielle?
I really thought this was a skit initially.
Apparently, this particular judge gets a lot of crazy because I've now seen another video of another dude who is rolling a blunt and smokes it while he's like in the waiting room, and the prosecutor saw it. And so as everything is about to get wrapped up, the prosecutor's like, yeah, point of reference. So he just rolled a blunt.
Yeah.
He wasn't smoking weed. Like, what the fuck? So his courtroom apparently stay off the chain. But here's what I love about us. Judge was like, are you driving? And he goes, actually, I'm about to pull over. Nigga, the answer is yes.
About to pull in.
I feel like he knew when he was talking, the way he was talking to the judge, I feel like he knew what was happening. I don't know. It was the way he was. I don't know. He was speaking in a weird way. Yeah, I'm pulling in right now. It was just strange. I don't know.
It's called nigga speak, Antoine. It's called, I know I've been caught doing something I'm not supposed to be doing. And not even the whole license thing, because that clearly didn't occur to him. It's like, you're not supposed to be talking while you're on a Zoom. Like, that whole scenario.
Oh, you know what? That went over my head because he's looking into the camera while he's driving.
Yeah, that's what he's thinking. The issue is, I'm driving and zooming, and it's like it's a lot more than just that. You're not supposed to be driving at all, and you're literally appearing in court about this while you're like,
damn, that went completely over my head.
But I don't know.
He wasn't even smart enough to have the camera off. Like, you could have just had your camera off and been like, my friend was driving and he just walked up. I don't, there's so many, I'm just baffled. The mind wobbles.
So you
could
have just
even try, but there's a part of me that thinks like what Antoine's saying though, that it's like he thought that like he really wanted to mention how he was going to the doctor. It's almost like that should negate anything because like it's an emergency. He's on his way to the doctor, so it's different, you know.
Well, and I'm like, you could have just pulled over and sat there and be late to the doctor's office. And then somebody, a lot of people in the comments are like, you could have said you was in the passenger seat, player. Like, you had options.
But it looked very clear that he was in the driver's seat. I think that's the problem with that. And then
that's what I'm getting at, Sarah. I'm saying he could have just pulled over, and clearly he's in a car, but he could have been like, I'm in the passenger seat. So the fact that
if he had pulled over, because you could tell where he was at that point that his ass was driving. So that certainly wouldn't have gone over well either.
But honestly, that all of it is a hot mess. But for real, when asked a direct question and he says, "Actually," I'm like, "Nigga, this is weird." Okay,
that's the part that was weird to me. The way he was talking, like that. It was the actually that threw it off. It made it weird. Like he knew he was doing something he wasn't supposed to be doing. I don't know.
I'm sorry. Has no one else dated? Has no one else dated? Just you ask a direct question and you get some fucking bullshit ass answer, nigga. You lying? Like what?
Why you always lying?
I recognize a Negro who thinks he's being cute and smart and like, look, hey, I'm doing the thing, but actually you're doing the dumbest fucking thing possible at this very moment.
But here's the part that really gets you is like, this guy now is going to get locked up over this, at least temporarily, for, you know, violating his conditions of release. But meanwhile, you know, Trump over here on all these convictions, and he's allowed to still be on the street. So I just want people to see when they say that there's two forms of justice, it's like, yes, and you're getting the good form, Trump, you know? Like that's what they don't understand. Like this guy is what people normally get, where you get busted doing what he's doing and they revoke your bail and they lock your ass up. That's what normal people get when they violate court orders, not 35,000 warnings not to keep doing it again as they continue to do it.
So there's probably a lot now, like just moving forward, having sat down for like 2 weeks and just taking a step back. Anyone who refuses to see that there's two systems of justices for people in this fucking country, at least two, maybe three or four. I just can't even have a conversation with anymore. If anybody thinks that Trump is being railroaded, I don't want to talk to you. I don't. So yes, maybe I am your host tonight. But since we're talking about it, moving to Trump, fucked around and found out. Okay. So this is what I love. Where were you when you heard that Trump was guilty on all 34 counts? I was sitting in my seat in this chair watching MSNBC, and I was talking to Antoine about it. And I said, because I was happy, my girl Nicole Wallace was on. I was like, oh, I'm so happy this news came when Nicole was on, because that's the homie right there. So they were like, it's 4:30. And everybody's like, oh, jury's going to go home. They'll be back tomorrow. Jury was like, fuck that shit. We about to have our Friday. So come back and they're like, there's a verdict, right? And so Nicole was like, oh my God, there's a verdict. It's like Christmas Eve, okay? So then
we are looking at,
and they say that they're like, we got 30 minutes before we hear back from the jury. So 30 minutes go by and Nicole goes, I don't want to be that person, but it's been 30 minutes. So checking back in with the people who are outside the courtroom, like, yo, what's up? So then the news drops, and you have that video, Antoine?
Yeah, here we go. So I'm gonna start playing it here. Hopefully we don't have no problems this time around.
We are looking at count 1, guilty. Count 2, guilty. Count 3, guilty. Count 4, guilty. Count 5, guilty. Those are the first 5 counts coming out of this jury, finding Donald J. Trump guilty on the first 5 felony counts. Reading the rest as we are getting it from our court reporters.
Starting with count 6.
Count 6, guilty. Count 7, guilty. Count 8, guilty. And you'll see on the screen we're tracking ahead. Count 9, guilty. Count 10, guilty. Count 11, guilty. Count 12, guilty. Count 13, guilty. Count 14,
they a mess for
guilty.
This.
Count 16, guilty. Count 17, Guilty.
What is
Count
Rachel
18,
writing the fuck down?
guilty.
What is
Count
she
19,
doing?
Guilty. Count 20. Guilty. Count 21. Guilty. Count 22. Guilty. Count 23. Guilty. Count 24. Guilty. Count 25. Guilty. Count 26. Guilty. Count 27. We're seeing that on screen. Guilty. Count 28. Guilty. Those are the first 28 felony counts here as read by the jury. Count 29, guilty. Count 30, guilty. Count 31, guilty. Count 32, guilty. Count 33 and 34, guilty. That is Donald J. Trump, defendant in New York versus Donald Trump, found guilty on all 34 felony counts. That is the verdict here in this case.
Rachel?
The thing now, I didn't catch too much of this because I don't really watch cable news. But when I was working and Crescent texted me and told me that there was a verdict, but we just knew there was a verdict. So I told my passenger. So when I got home, it was all because I think Danielle was like the nigga guilty or something. She was on the thread. She said that nigga guilty. So I got home and I pulled up YouTube. I just typed in Trump guilty, and it pulled up an Anderson Cooper video. And Anderson is a notorious shade queen. All homosexuals have a notorious shade queen inside of them. He would not say that nigga's name without saying convicted felon. It's like, we are here. That is convicted felon, former President Donald J. Trump. That is how he's referring to him from now on. That's his name.
That's what he is.
That's his name. That's his name now.
Right. So just to set us where we are. He's guilty of falsifying business records. He is the first former president in U.S. history to be convicted of a felony. The sentencing hearing is set up for July 11th. Just note that it's up to the judge. It could be probation. It could be jail time. It's not a mandatory jail time sentencing, which I'll let Sarah elaborate about. The Republican National Convention starts July 15th. An appeal will be filed. So we did the count. Okay. There's some more things, but just as another thing I want to note, other people online noted that the jurors filled out where they got their news from. And there was one person who got their news from Truth Social, and that was it. Like, you had a list of the things you could check off of where you got your news from. So it could be New York Times and MSNBC and CNN, right? So this person only checked off Truth Social. One person only checked off Fox News. And I think one person only checked off Twitter. Fuck you, Elon. Fuck X. I don't care. So those three people found him guilty. It was unanimous. I want to talk about that. So before I get to Al Bragg, as I've talked about before, Al Bragg is family. So all these motherfucking naysayers talking about it's a weak case and what we doing and why, and he don't know what he doing. He's just got in office and this is not going to go well. Like, this whole process of them talking shit about Alvin Bragg. Now what?
Put your money where your mouth is.
Like, and it was interesting to see the few who were like, I was wrong. You damn straight you were. I'm just like, I don't know. Look, I know y'all just stay underestimating us. I get it. Even though, you know a few of us can get the damn thing done. Hello, Barack Obama. Fuck Oprah. I know you know those two, okay? So they're not complete outliers. There are more of us who can get the job done, all right? So I never had any doubts. Like, there's no way he would have brought this case forward if he did not have 99% certainty that he could win it. Obviously, the jury gonna do what the jury gonna do, but he was like, I know I have a strong case. So I'm gonna pause for a second. Everybody else want to jump in because I got a bunch of shit.
What's up, New Breed? Entertainment, film, and TV. I'm not sure who that is, but I'm glad you're watching. Go ahead.
Yeah.
It's definitely interesting. Go
I
ahead.
was actually a little surprised that he was guilty on all 34 counts. I thought it would be a mixed bag of things. And so I was actually getting ready for an audition at the time. So I was like doing my makeup and I was like, what? So it was an exciting day.
And then Sarah, because the 34 was 34 because of the number of payments, right? Like,
I was going to say, I'm not really surprised by that part because I feel like the charges were the same kind of charges and the counts were just based on different transactions. And so it's kind of like if you could prove like the elements you needed, then it would be unlikely that you could prove it for some and not others. In this kind of case, it seemed like I don't feel like the charges were all like such different scenarios that they would be like, oh, but this one's different from this. It's like all kind of followed the same pattern. And so if they had what they needed on one, they, probably had that on 34 and clearly they did. So it's funny because like, I feel like for a lot of the week I was at home and like kind of keeping tabs on things. And I needed to return something before, the 30 days was up. And so I was leaving my house and I literally like shut the TV off and then shut it right back on because I said, let me just make sure, nothing's about to happen before I leave. And it said like the jurors were getting ready to end deliberations for the day. That was like the last thing they were saying. So I'm thinking, oh, I guess they want to go into tomorrow at least. And I'm like, I guess they're not making any decisions today. So I guess I'll leave. I don't even know if it was like a full hour after I left the house that they actually, came down with the verdict. And I was actually in a restaurant and there was like an older white guy a couple seats away from me. And all of a sudden he was on his phone and I overheard him saying something like guilty on all counts, something like that. And the way he said it, I still was thinking, this is just somebody like fucking with his friend and like, his friend who's a Trump supporter and like nothing's actually happened. It's just this guy being funny. So I pull out my phone and I'm like Googling and I'm like, oh my God, this really did just happen. But yeah, it's almost like I had to leave the house in order for the verdict to happen because, watch pot never boiled. So as soon as I left, we got a verdict,
Hilarious. To just further sort of elaborate with regard to the different counts, which I don't think people understand. So as Sarah was noting, like if there were 6 payments, there might have been like 6 counts or maybe 7 and 8, right? Like that's sort of like what it was because the number of payments that were made, each payment was you falsify a motherfucking business record. So that's how we got to that large number. There was a tweet that I saw that said, in Al Bragg's first 15 months on the job, the Manhattan DA's office filed 166 felony counts for falsifying business records against 34 defendants from all walks of life. So again, the Republican response, of course, has been lies, yelling lies, just all types of crazy weaponization of government, blah, 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 blah. And the reason why you can't have a calm conversation with that is because you full of shit, okay? They pursue this particular issue regularly. Here's the thing, Donald Trump ain't special. That's what y'all got a problem with, right? They're like, this is gonna happen to somebody else. Not if you don't motherfucking commit crimes. It's actually not hard. It's really not challenging. So some of these people, and I'm curious what you guys think, right? Like this whole clown show, the circus that is the Trump crowd. I'm like, some of y'all were nerds that just never got down with the cool kids because you were fucking nerds, Tim Scott, right? Some of y'all were just the awkward, like, outlier dude. Hell, Donald Trump. Can you see him having friends, like, through grade school? Like, I just don't ever see him having, like, a legitimate somebody who's like, that's my person.
Before the 80s, though, he was a fairly normal person. I mean, just to me from the outside looking in. Now, when you talk to people from New York, they say they know he's a crook the whole time. But to the general public, he was likable up until right before he ran for president. Shit, my mom watched this show every week. Had me watching it with her. Yeah.
For the general public. But like, we'll try and sort of talk about a little bit of it. But the guy who was the producer on The Apprentice, and he was talking about being around them. And so to your point, people who were in New York who were like, he's a con man. He don't pay people. He's a fucking asshole. Right. But yeah, outwardly and within that certain vibe. But he still strikes me as that arrogant asshole from Jump who was raised to be an entitled white man because, his daddy had all this money. So I'm just like, these people, in my opinion, just never had real friends. They were always on the outside looking in to some degree, wealthy or not. And so now they have found their tribe and they just going all in with all the crazy. So his press conference,
kind of like a cult, that's who they go for, the people who are weak and that they can take advantage of and manipulate, very cult-like.
I don't know if anyone caught his press conference this morning. I caught some of it. It was a rambling mess. Tim Miller said, if Joe Biden hobbled out with unkept hair and started rambling for 7 minutes about a friend's financial crimes and how Republicans are trying to take away people's cars, pundits will be talking about invoking the 25th Amendment. Then Rick Wilson said, Jesus Christ, Trump looks like he woke up with a dead hooker and a live monkey in a bloodstained flophouse hotel room.
Jesus.
Great.
I don't know. It was wild. Like, literally, I was like, how do you think this is helping you? It's not, but you're crazy. So there's no rational thought here. We have some of those people in our lives. Right, Danielle? They just do shit. They say shit. They're logical.
Y'all so wrong. I have a question, though. So when he said that it was rigged, my question, and maybe, Sarah, you can shed some light on this. When they are choosing jurors, don't both the prosecution and the defense have to approve each juror? So the people who convicted you were chosen by you, your lawyer, and the prosecutor, which that's to make sure there's no, nobody can say there was an impropriety. In the spirit of fairness, we can't pick everyone. You get to reject people who you think are going to be biased towards the prosecution. So he doesn't have a leg to stand on when he says that, right? Am I wrong here?
But we all know that he just says stuff. He just makes shit up. Like, here's the thing. Even if it may have happened faster than most people expected, they had a lengthy jury selection process that was, multiple days long. And both lawyers had plenty of strikes that they could make to get rid of people. And it's just like, we know how Trump is. If he had won, he would have said, these are some very good people and they did the right thing and justice has been served. And you can see that this whole thing was a sham trial against me and da-da-da-da. But he lost. So now everyone is a hack and everybody is, corrupted and they're all conflicted people and they're all against him. It's just the normal Trump playbook. And these are the people who want law and order and these are the people who are against crime and all this stuff. But they're not. They're just against crime for poor Black people, for crimes that they need to live. They're fine with Trump committing endless crimes, And the stuff that happened, it's funny because I thought today, I didn't know if we'd be discussing verdict. I thought maybe we'd still be waiting. I wasn't sure how quick the jury would go. You never know with the juries. I thought we'd be talking about the closing statements and all this stuff, which were really long, by the way. They were really long. And I think the craziest thing was his lawyers slipping the prison thing in there because everybody that's a lawyer knows you're not supposed to bring that stuff up in the non-sentencing phase of the trial. So, for me, I kept thinking about that and thinking, were they trying to get a mistrial? Because normally if the prosecution does something completely inappropriate during closing, the other side's going to move for an immediate mistrial. Because it's if you're on the defense side, a mistrial is basically a win. So I feel I wonder what they were really trying to do because they knew it wasn't appropriate. Maybe they're just trying to rile up his supporters, but it's did they think shit, maybe we can get them to move for a mistrial? It's I don't think the prosecution put in 6 weeks of work to have a mistrial. So
and about that particular issue, when the defense slipped that in there, the judge rightly fucking blew a gasket because you're not supposed to do that.
And they know that.
And they know that. And one thing that's gotten noted often is that juries respect judges. Some of us have never been on jury. Some of us have. If you have, then you have your own experience with that. But once you're in the process, you recognize how serious this is. You get your instructions from the judge. You look to the judge for understanding of what is right and what is wrong. So the judge corrected that motherfucker and told the jury that should not have been heard. Basically, I'm the one who deals with sentencing. That ain't what you need to worry about. That shouldn't have got said. So the jury's already on notice. Oh, they out here playing games again, right? And funny enough, I found out that people in the circle worked with, had been friends with Trump's defense attorney, right? So I'm and I kept hearing he actually was supposed to be pretty good. He's supposed to be a pretty good attorney. I'm there was a lot of missteps that were made, which I can only say that came from Trump saying, I need you to do this. I want you to do this. do this, do this, do this. And that was the other thing about the witnesses. Because another thing, which I think, Antoine, you were talking about asking about jury selection, Trump keeps yelling about there was witnesses that should have been called that didn't get called. Y'all had opportunity. Your side
like you, nigga, like you who told everybody you were gonna get up there and expose all the lies, and yeah, you knew better. You knew better because as soon as you got up there, a lot of questions were gonna be asked that you did not want answered because you don't know when to stop. He's that witness that is on the craziest episode of fucking Law and Order SVU. Mm-hmm. You get up there and they go, permission to treat the witness as hostile? Your Honor, he opened the door by mentioning he likes to fuck his daughter. Can I ask more? It's that type of situation.
Jesus Lord.
The subliminal messages that he also was sending and doing these things, and especially this particular trial, where your whole defense argument is, no, I had nothing to do with it. I'm super hands off, blah, blah, blah. But yet you're sending subliminal messages during the trial that even in the trial, you're not hands off and you're trying to control experienced lawyers when you're not a lawyer. And you want them to believe that you were hands off in everything that you're being accused of. But yet you're showing them that there's no such thing when it comes to you. You're all up in the shit.
But Sarah, I don't think that was noted personally, I don't think that was really noted as much in the courtroom. Like you have to really understand.
Subliminal.
I get what you're saying, but he's asleep. He's asleep in the courtroom. He's farting, he's passing gas and knocked out. So if anything, that's just disrespectful to the fucking jury. It's like, I gotta be here taking notes and paying attention to this shit and your ass is over here knocked out.
Okay, they're bad subliminal messages, it's like, not good. And then his whole thing about the venue, he needs to stop. Like they already tried that at the beginning about the venue. And it's like, there's nowhere in America where people weren't going to know about what's going on. Like, it's just ridiculous. And even in New York, like he literally is like, it was set up because the polling where we had it was like this. So what you're saying is it should have been set up, but in your favor, and they should have looked at poll numbers and specifically chosen a location in New York that was polling high for you. That would have been fair and impartial, right? Okay.
It's always fraudulent when he loses. Mm-hmm. It's only not fraudulent when that nigga wins. Mm-hmm. Whether it's an election, a lawsuit, a court case, it don't matter. Divorce, whatever you want to call it, friendship.
So
anything. When he loses, everybody else is corrupt. That's just how he moves.
I love that Sarah has replenished the red wine. Good job.
Yeah, I had the bottle, thank God, because what a mess. I think it's drying better than I expected in some areas, so we'll see what happens. I felt like I had to tackle it immediately, otherwise I would have waited till the show was over, but you can't be letting the red wine, set into things. You gotta
the wall. It was the wall.
I did what I could. I'm trying not to look too far low because there's like just enough light in my eyes to make it seem okay.
Danielle, does salt work on the wall? If you put salt on the wall, can you?
She thought it was on like a rug or something.
I don't know if it works on the wall. I thought it was on like a carpet or something. But wall, peroxide gets red wine stains out of things. I don't know if that might.
It'll be fine.
Sorry.
Why not in that movie? What was that 80s movie that started out where this guy... this girl borrows her mom's white suede dress, and her mom is out of town, and she goes to a party, and this motherfucker is walking by, somebody bumps into him, and he throws a whole glass of red wine on this girl's mama's white suede dress that she was not supposed to have on. Do anybody in the chat know what movie that is? It's like Mannequin or something. I don't know what movie that is.
It sounds like it's like that, like a Small Kind of Wonderful movie or something.
Yeah, something along those lines. That's the premise has to do. Because what made me think of this was somebody said, I think you can put salt on it. And then they go to the scene where she's trying to rub red wine out of fucking white suede, and it's not working. It is not fucking working.
I will say, I feel like, go ahead, Danielle.
I've gotten red wine out of a cream sweater before. I've gotten red wine out of like a cream sweater before.
So, wow.
But not Swede.
We're using the peroxide method.
Okay. But not Swede.
And yeah, we are aware that
on to the next one.
We are aware that Danielle has Kung Fu voice tonight.
Oh, I didn't even catch that fully.
I think
you
Chavez
did?
could be right. That could be it. Can't Buy Me Love. I feel like it's in that.
Yes,
in that realm.
it's Can't Buy Me Love.
Yeah.
That's what it is. Thank you.
So
Yeah, on my end. Go ahead.
Chavez dropped it in the chat, but I was gonna say I feel like of us up here, Sarah would have been the one to figure it out, but Chavez mentioned it.
I feel like I helped. It's in that same. Genre.
Yeah, you steered us in the right direction.
It's in that same.
Yeah, that's what I said. I was like, I was putting my faith in Sarah. Also, Relinda jumped in with Can't Buy Me Love. So, how I'm gonna say Carrie. You know what? Okay. I derailed us, but to get us back. So I saw a couple people in the chat, and this was commented on definitely on MSNBC yesterday. People were like, this is a sad day, and this is not a time for celebration. Fuck you. Not y'all in the chat. Y'all in the chat I love. But the commentary yesterday on MSNBC, I was like, how about this? I'm gonna take this day and the next day to go ahead and feel good. I will get, back to the seriousness of all this shit later, but I'm gonna go ahead and like really relish this moment. Can we do that, please? Can I have a moment? Can I just have?
They said MSNBC said it was a sad day.
No, one or two people were like, this is a sad state of affairs, and I mean, this is bad.
Oh, I get it. Okay, so I understand, but it's also celebratory. It's
broader picture,
yeah.
Yeah, so
it's like you got some good pussy, and then a couple days later you got chlamydia. It's like it was good pussy, but there was a price to be paid for. It's two things. Two things are true at the same time. You had a good time, and you also technically are having a bad time afterwards.
I mean,
and then you got anyway.
I always say like nobody messes with my like abolitionism more than Trump. You know what I mean? Because like I don't really like for people to go to like jail and prison and stuff, but people like him, they make it hard because you're like, oh, it's good for everybody but you. Like it's hard. Yeah. It's hard to be like, that's really not good for society. But it's just like you wanted to like have the Central Park 5, the exonerated 5, like hung and shit. You know what I mean?
And won't apologize.
Even now, it's like the fact that you have 34 felony convictions. I don't care that it's white collar crime, but like that you're not even held pending sentencing, like that you're still just able to like go around. And I mean, people have been asking really interesting questions. I think one of the most interesting questions that somebody I know had posted was, so you can be a felon and be commander-in-chief of the military? And it's like, that's a really good place to start because, everybody can say, oh, there's nothing that says if you're a felon, you can't be a president. But like, how are we going to have somebody with 34 felons? And that's like right now, he might get more. How are we going to have them being commander-in-chief of the military? And they're like, oh, well, that's a different kind of position. They're not really in. Oh, but they can they have total control of the whole military. Like,
so again, sadly, are the framers of the Constitution, our forefathers, or the white people with the wigs, white men, did not see somebody on this level.
No. They trusted the people too goddamn much. They trusted them way too much. The Civil War showed you can't let these people be in charge.
Also, look, after FDR was like, look, it's not enshrined in the Constitution that it was only 2 terms, right? Until later. So FDR was like, well, there's no rule saying I can't. So I'm going to go ahead and get 2 more in. So they're like, what we're going to do? We're going to change the Constitution. Right? So now, yes, there should be added to the Constitution. If your punk ass is a convicted felon, you cannot be president. But getting anything amended in this era is going to be really challenging. But it is insane. It is absolutely insane. He should have never made it to the White House to begin with. And my mom and I were having this conversation. This is on the Republican Party. Y'all could have cut that motherfucker loose. Y'all had ample opportunities to go, you know what? We just going to go ahead and figure out somebody else to move forward with. This is on y'all. The system is set up in a way and it's supposed to work. The RNC has been taken over by these fucking criminal ass, clown ass fools. Mm-hmm. And this is where we are. There were grown-ups who should have been like, no, we're done here. Mitch McConnell with your fucking turtle ass. And then even what he put out, this is a sham, is going to be overturned on appeal. Shut up. Just I'm sorry, I have a question though. Sarah, you're okay with guilty people going to jail though, right? Like you're good with.
Things are complicated.
Oh, okay.
You know, like what is like guilty people? Because there's plenty of people who are wrongly convicted who in court are guilty and they're in prison. So like it's a much more complicated question that there's people who like, okay, you shoplifted. What did they steal? Deodorant, food for their kids. You know what I mean? I used to have people that they would be like, your client's obviously making crack. They stole formula. I'm like, here's a weird thought. She also has a baby.
Yeah.
So maybe let's just go on a limb.
Nuance, gray areas, societal issues. I'm talking about there's a tape of you raping somebody. There's a tape of you shooting someone. I'm like, there are people who belong in jail. That's what I'm getting at for me.
Yeah, so, I guess it's like
there's a
no, I don't. It's complicated. Like I understand why people do things that egregious, why it's like they have to have some kind of punishment, but in a lot of senses, that's not actually what's going to rehabilitate anybody. It's not actually what's going to, help most people to go to, prison. Like the prisons and jails in this country are abysmal, and very few people have actually committed any offense that's actually justifies them being in those horrible places. So it's hard, it's hard to say.
Yeah,
well, I think I feel like what she's saying is that like you can also be guilty of having a small amount of weed on your person, and you're guilty. You had it. You broke the law, and now you're sitting in a cold ass cell with no blanket, and Bubba is your roommate. So that's what I feel like she's saying. Is it
drug stuff? Yeah, we probably are on the same page about that. And even like you said, stealing certain things, stealing deodorant, stealing food. Like capitalism is a fucked up ass like situation for a lot.
But like driving on a suspended license, you know what I mean? Right. Like I agree with this public defender. Like I would love a world where people aren't, getting locked up. But you have other people say, well, then he's just going to keep driving. But it's like that's one of those things that is one of the most probably commonly committed offenses all across the country, because that's like a privilege thing. Like most people can't afford to not drive. Most people, like they get caught on a suspended license, they're better off like hoping they don't get pulled over than to not drive, because they're not going to be able to work. They're not going to be able to feed their family. They're not going to be able to pay their rent. They're not going to be able to do all the things that they can do if they can drive. So even though it's like, oh my God, he already got caught driving on a suspended license. He literally has an open case for it. I can't believe he's doing it again. It's like most people like don't have the privilege to not do it, and depending on what state you're in, you could end up locked up for something like that. Like this guy
100%
jump on
100% agree with you on that. Putting people in jail for child support. How the fuck am I gonna pay my child support if I'm in jail? No,
in jail, exactly.
But again, Danielle said it. I don't think it got fully heard, but you peeing on 14-year-olds and raping them. I don't give a fuck what pit you're in. You belong there, and I'm okay with that. I am totally fine with that. Now, questions about the death penalty, I can probably have a conversation about. But like, no, lock your ass up. I don't fuck rehabilitation. I'm good. I'm good on it. Like at this stage of my life, no. We just go to the darkest depths of whatever. Because you're a predator. You're a monster. So.
Yeah, no, there's definitely some tough things out there, and that's why I said some people make it really difficult to even have that position, because they do things that are really egregious. But, I think it comes down to like, even with what you're saying, for most people, they can't be locked up forever. And a lot of them come out of prison worse off than they were when they came in, and then they can go and commit more crimes when they've been released. So you have to think about a whole long-term part of it too. I mean, even if you look at prisons and stuff in other countries, they're a lot nicer than here. I mean, it's not supposed to be a country club, but maybe they're actually trying to rehabilitate people over there instead of just treat them with inhumanity. I mean, think about this country during COVID. You literally had people that hadn't even been convicted of anything, but they were being held, pre-trial without bail because they're poor, and they're getting a death sentence being in those jails during COVID. And then you look at some of the things they're in there for, and it's like certainly not worth a death sentence, Yeah,
there's a broad spectrum when it comes to offenses, and as America has a one-size-fits-all solution for that. You stole a Snickers bar, throw him in jail. You pissed on a little girl, throw him in jail. You committed white-collar crime, you go into jail. You did
No, then
insider
don't throw him in
trading.
jail.
Yeah, you go into a special jail. But that is weird. We need to make adjustments. But that's a whole other episode.
Danielle, were you about to say something?
I mean, it's what Lisa was touching on, in that jails are a white private business, and it's all about making money. So they're not trying to rehabilitate people or actually do anything to make the jail system better or make people equipped to handle getting out of jail and getting back into the real world and rehabilitating. So, but we could have this conversation for a long time. This could be a whole nother topic.
Yeah. We can move on. But if you coming out of jail and you 75, I'm gonna be a little less paranoid about your ass. That's all I'm gonna say.
I'm just saying we don't know what's gonna happen. We don't know if he's gonna give him prison time or not. And even at the years that they're looking at, real talk in New York, like sometimes that stuff means nothing, because if you get a sentence of a certain amount of years, you will be out of prison in like a couple months with the overcrowding in a lot of these places.
True.
So don't get too excited.
I'm still talking about really legitimately serious, horrible offenses where you get life. That's what I'm
talking about Trump right now.
That's what I'm saying. Like there's a spectrum here. So I don't actually think Trump's gonna serve jail time, but we already have been talking about this forever. So loss of voting rights. Trump is a Florida resident. He can still vote as long as he stays out of prison in New York. So Florida defers to other states' disenfranchisement rules for residents who are convicted for out-of-state felonies. So in Trump's case, New York law only removes the right to vote for people convicted of felonies when they are incarcerated. So once they're out of prison, their rights are automatically restored, even if they're on parole. That's a new law as of 2021. Only one state, Virginia, permanently disenfranchises people convicted of felonies. There, the governor must intervene to restore voting rights. 9 other states, including Florida, have some form of permanent disenfranchisement unless they're reinstated by government action. I don't know if there's more that I'm missing, Sarah, but I was trying to get that because a lot of people have been talking about him losing his right to vote.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of that too.
Yeah.
And they're saying in Florida, they're saying in Florida that even if he's convicted, as long as he's not in prison, he'll be able to vote.
Yeah.
And they said that Florida will count out-of-state convictions
after you served your term.
Say it again, Danielle.
I thought I heard someone speaking on the Florida law saying that after your term has been served, then your rights to vote can be restored. Am I wrong about that?
Yeah, Florida won a case a while back that was getting people back their rights to vote after being felons, but they made it super cumbersome. Like you got to pay fines, penalties. Like it's this whole elaborate ass hoops you got to jump through. So yes, but I think is the answer.
Yeah, you do have to be out of prison before they're restored. And then they said that they'll also count out-of-state convictions, but they said that they apply what that state's laws are to it. So like if New York were to say, no, you can't vote, even if in Florida you would have your rights back, they're going to apply the New York law and not let you. So that's what I had read earlier.
Varies by state. Also in New York, this is fun. You cannot hold many public offices, including elected positions. But remember, he's no longer a New York resident. Also in Florida, you can't hold public office, nor can he serve on the jury. But neither of those things means he can't run for president. So just wanted to put that out there. Travel. There are 38 countries that don't allow felons to enter their borders. Some of those countries deny entry to felons up front, while others do so only after conviction has been discovered. So if they don't know it, I guess you're good.
Shit, I think Canada is one of them. I had a friend that got a DUI and she couldn't get in Canada. So I guess it depends. You can't go upstairs. They will not let you upstairs, nigga. You can't go upstairs.
Gun ownership, federal law bars individuals convicted of a felony from possessing a firearm. And most states have similar prohibitions. So just right before we got the verdict, because I'm with Sarah. I didn't think it was coming before the weekend. Although when a jury comes back rather quickly, that's usually not good for the defense.
Right.
Just kind of as a rule. But before that, the headline was, and this has been talked about before, but now it's official. A producer from The Apprentice was like, yeah, he called Kwame the N-word and it's on tape. But I was under NDA for 20 years that just expired this year, and it was a penalty of $5 million. So I wasn't saying shit until I was in the clear. Mm-hmm. And I had the whole notes of like how this came together. But while they were shooting, you know, basically they were like, we shot the behind the scenes stuff in case the FCC was ever like making sure we didn't try and game the system for this game, right? Because that's a law about that with that whole game show scandal shit that happened, I think, in the 50s. So it's like, you know, you can't be like propping up your favorite players and giving them the answers and like dissing other people. Right? Well, I know, I see your face, Danielle. You're right. But they were like, to cover their asses, we will be covering what's happening, the conversations that are happening behind the scenes. So it is on camera somewhere. Clearly,
well, and to be specific, what he said was, he said, I don't know, would America accept a winner that's a nigger? That's essentially what he said.
Yeah.
And, which I thought was an odd thing to say.
I mean, if you watch enough of those shows, it sounds like it's right in line. I wonder that every time they have the voice.
Oh, no, I just mean niggas win game shows and reality shit all the time. So for me on this one, it's like, why is your show fucking exempt from niggas winning? We beat you in sports. We beat you in a bunch of shit. We beat you at spelling bees. We beat you at dancing, singing, the blues, swag, fucking bad bitches. I mean, all of it. We beat you in all of it.
When did The Apprentice come out? When did that start again? Was that 90?
No, beating you at entertainment and sports is one thing, but beating you at intelligence and business, niggas aren't allowed to do that. We're not allowed to
exactly
a nigger with the ER or a nigga win in that arena, in those arenas.
So it's different because that show is different because that show was about business, is what you're saying. Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
Elitism,
it's about business, and his audience is a white audience.
Yeah.
Right, and this is also his brand, right? And because the winner of The Apprentice comes and gets a position at the Trump organization, right?
I just feel like I think here's a perfect example of him being somewhat of a master at being manipulative. He does things for image because the first thing that's going to come out of his mouth is, so I called Kwame a nigger, but then I gave Omarosa her own show that I executive produced on BET called The Ultimate Merger. Did anybody watch that? Did anybody watch The Ultimate Merger? It was terrible. It was terrible. She wasn't finna fuck none of them dudes. Either. Yeah, Al B. Sure was on there. There was no chemistry. But yeah, he likes niggas when he need to. You know, I don't think anybody really knows who the fuck this person is. He's like a chameleon. He's constantly, like he literally seems like a different person.
Man. He's a con man. He's a con man. Yeah. Go ahead, Danielle.
He likes niggas when they can make money for him.
Yeah.
That's when he likes niggas. Or when he can. I wonder if he's actually fucked a black woman.
Oh, Jesus.
It's like Danielle is delayed for me, so her voice and her are like two different people. It's messing me up. I was going to say, I really liked the quote from the guy, though, that ended the article that said, by carefully misleading viewers about Trump, his wealth, his stature, his character, and his intent, the competition and reality show set about an American fraud that would balloon beyond its creator's wildest imaginations. I was like, okay.
That was eloquent.
Mic drop ending then, are we?
Yeah. No, this article is really good. Like, if you have time, it's pretty in depth, but it's worth a read if you have time. I think that's why I didn't put it on shelf low, because it's long as fuck and I don't want y'all yelling at me. But the original article is really good. So yeah, I mean, obviously we could talk about Trump forever, which I don't want to. We already have been spending, I think, damn near 40 minutes on it. Yeah, but I will say, just the commentary from other people who are like, "It's a sham. It's this." I'm like, I'm not gonna have this conversation with you. He committed a crime. He was guilty.
You thought I spilled my wine, but I was really just pouring some out for the homies, you know? It's like, love you, Dad.
I mean, if you don't want to talk about Trump anymore, we could talk about this motherfucker right here.
That's where we're moving to next. That's where we're moving to next. Antoine,
The Madness Collective.
Just a reminder, y'all. It's just a reminder.
And hit that like button.
So, Antoine, I was sent that picture by a friend, and it was like, why does this picture exist? And so, what were your first thoughts when you saw it, Antoine?
It actually looks staged to me. This looked like some shit that he commissioned. This looks commissioned. This is him. Because remember, at one point he's like, as part of the investigation, he had a housekeeper that used to wanted to serve him food after in the middle of fucking. And at one point he shows up with a robe and he opens the robe and he's like, "Do you like my body?" It reminds me of Right Said Fred, "I'm too sexy" comes to mind, like something like, "Do you like my body?" Like it just came off real cheesy. That's what this picture looks like to me.
I'm a model.
Danielle, what was your first impression when you saw the image?
It looked like it was like a demo for a Jodeci album cover.
Oh God.
It looked like he was trying to do an album cover or something. But again, I don't know what is this picture and why? But, yeah, it's like he was trying to do an album cover to me. I don't know.
Sarah, you need to take a swig of wine before you answer.
I did have to take it. I was like, it was it feels like the Diddy stuff is just is not stopping anytime soon.
No.
I saw DL Hughley was calling people out. I don't know if you saw that, and he was telling people, all y'all that are coming out now with stuff to say about things you saw, you're not witnesses, you're accomplices if you didn't say anything back then to help. And I'm like, well, not holding back, kind of true-ish in some ways.
Again, look, a topic you could spend like another half hour on when you find yourself in certain situations and say nothing, don't say nothing. Hell, the Apprentice dude, the producer, he was like, nigger got dropped. There was like a pause, and then the head producer was like, "So we're gonna just keep on moving past that, like nobody heard it, right?" Like it's and again, not judging anybody, but yeah, a lot of people coming forward now. When I first saw the image, because knowing the situations that allegedly, we got the banner still, Antoine.
Yeah, the banner is right there.
Allegedly, I don't see it.
Oh, the allegedly banner. Oh, I'm sorry. It's a lot going on over here, girl.
I know. Our disclaimer of how, he is free in his sexual pursuits. The image of the water cascading on him like that gave me the image of being nutted on. Sorry. I'm sorry. That's sorry. Sorry, Riblet. Sorry. Close Riblet's
Or little earmuffs, young lady.
Not the M word. Have we ever said that on the show? Oh my God.
You have to have said it.
I don't know if I said that, girl. You nasty, baby. You nasty, baby.
A little time away and she comes back a little frisky, doesn't she?
Nasty girl, you
coming in hot.
I prefer ejaculate, but go ahead. I'm sorry.
Okay, that works. Thank you. Clean it up. We can clean it up. But that was my first thought. Oh, damn.
Or a golden shower. I need to edit that and make the water yellow. And I'm going to put a picture of Carisha next to him.
Oh.
The stories in that expose are just really bad, though.
So I'm gonna run down the 7 that this article that I shared, because the Rolling Stone article was a paywall. But did anybody read the entire Rolling Stone article? Because it's
I just read what you said.
Okay, right. So the article that I sent just summarized some.
There was a glitch when I started reading the. I was saying there was a glitch, and I started reading it passed the paywall, and then I got so far, like a quarter through the article, and then the paywall came back, and I was like, "Damn it!
Get out of here, nigga! You ain't supposed to be in here."
Apparently, the trick with the paywall is you're supposed to go to the private browsing, and that's how you get around it.
Yeah.
I never think about it when I'm being blocked, though. I'm like, fucking paywall.
They're out of control. The paywalls are out of control. Like, I'm not subscribing to The Guardian, Washington Post, New York Times, fucking the Wall Street Journal, Vibe. I'm not subscribing. I'm not doing it. Fuck y'all.
Point of reference for The Guardian. You just got to sign up. You don't got to pay them.
And why don't they have like a pay per article situation?
That would be helpful. But yeah, Guardian they just ask for a donation. But if you just give them an email address at some point, they don't harass you as much. Now, I will say this: Apple finally got my ass on their news app, and so like there's a monthly like this, but I have access to damn near all the publications. But it's like I can't easily always share it. So I just haven't read the whole thing because I'm grossed out by Puffy. Like I mean, I was with Cassie too. It just gets worse every time.
People still try to get fresh about it on like social media with people in the comments being like, you obviously didn't read the article. And now people are fighting back and they're like, I'm not paying to read it. It was a paywall. And you're damn right I didn't read it. And I'm like, look, we're in a different world now.
I've seen those comments there. Cats are like, yeah, fuck you and your paywall. No, I didn't read the goddamn thing. Summarize it or get out my, like, yeah, it gets a little
screenshot to be a hero.
It reminds me of former Real Housewife of Potomac, Robin Dixon. She's no longer on the show, apparently.
Yes, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Well, it reminds me when they called her husband with their woman in the hotel, and she decided that she was going to tell us what had really happened if we paid her money behind the fucking paywall. Girl, nobody care. I don't care that much. No. And that's what got her ass fired.
Mm-hmm.
One of the things.
One of the things.
So before I get into the 7 most shocking claims from Rolling Stone's expose on Sean Diddy Combs, I just want to highlight Angie's comment. Angie said in response to Danny's question, I'm pretty sure he fucked a black woman. As a hoe bag, he's the kind that would want to try all different types of vag. That is a quote. Just wanted to, there you go. There you go.
Jesus, tell them how you really feel. Y'all, what is it? Can we get some? I want some classy ladies on the show. Y'all talking about nut and hoe bags tonight? What happened to decorum? What's going on?
Nigga, what did it say? Angry host? Okay.
It's like coming from Mr. After Dark himself.
Thank you, Sarah. Thank you, Sarah. Okay. Also, look, it's do or die, okay? From here to November, and then office in November.
We don't know what's coming. They may take away our rights to use the internet, so we gotta enjoy this while we can, okay?
True.
Thank you, Sarah. These are people need to understand what is at stake, okay?
We'll be stoned on the streets or cussing after this, so we gotta enjoy it while we can, honey. Fuck.
All right, 7 most shocking claims. So they're not in order in terms of why they were in the article, because whatever. So the abuse dates back to college, and there was a situation. They highlighted a couple situations, but one in particular, some girlfriend he had. He was outside screaming like a fucking crazy person at her to come outside. When he did come outside, it got physical, and so you had a whole bunch of other girls running up on him like, "Dude, stop! What are you doing? What are you doing?" I can't even like imagine that energy just in college and watching that take place while you're trying to help this girl out. Like, that is crazy. He attacked a woman in his office who was fighting with another woman, allegedly. He slighted Biggie Smalls on a Rolling Stone cover. So just after Biggie had passed,
not surprised.
Rolling Stone was like, all right, we want to do Biggie. And he was like, nah, do me. Allegedly. He was jealous of Biggie's relationship with Pac, allegedly. As Antoine mentioned, the private chef delivering food while he was having sex or while he was naked.
A post-coital meal is what he requested. Post-coital French fries.
It was, but then you read it and it's like post-coital, during coital. It was all
exactly.
Like, it was like just walk her in there, putting French fries while he's getting fucked. It's like,
I'm done with these fries, bitch. Take that.
Yeah, if you have the grape feeding, right? Feeding you the grapes while you're in the middle of sex. No, nobody's gonna pay enough for that.
Take that has such a different fucking connotation now, which I hate. I hate it. I hate all of this. Ugh. He broke a chair over the head of one of Kim's exes. That's not allegedly. Like that, I think people witnessed that.
And that man, I believe, is no longer with us. I don't know if he.
He committed suicide. Yeah, like a couple years later. And then Sister Souljah allegedly warned. See, I didn't know this woman, the Joy Dickerson Neal, but I think I guess it was a video vixen. But she warned her, Sister Souljah warned her about Diddy. Like, don't do that. You don't want to touch that. So these are the 7 most shocking. I don't know. There's other things in there. I saw a couple other different references. But yeah, so, question is he getting charged? There's some associates there's a source that's like, people have been contacted to be witnesses in some charges moving forward. So we'll see what's about
this is federal. And this is federal, right?
I have no idea.
Okay.
I don't know.
I'm not for like racists trying to turn fire hoses on civil rights leaders or anything, but that college campus situation, somebody needed to just like get a fucking fire hose on his ass and just hose him right off of campus. Like, you know what I mean? They needed to just blast his little crazy ass out there screaming in the quad outside the dorm and everything, then just beating this girl out on the damn campus and everything. No.
It's odd to me that was allowed to happen. Like he wouldn't have been able to do that on my college campus, but because look, even if the dudes were scared of him, the women would have stepped in, and I mean, he'd have been hit over the head with something. Like, they wouldn't have just stood there. Like, it's just weird to me. And this isn't to, try and diminish the severity of what happened. It's just the way it was explained. I feel like we may not be getting the full story. I don't know.
Sound like a mess.
Because he wasn't Puffy. He wasn't Puffy when he was in college. He was,
No.
He was a concert promoter.
He wasn't Puffy as we know him, but apparently he was already going by the nickname Puff, they said.
Yes, he was. Yes, he was.
But that's the thing. He's one of those egomaniacs. Like, he had that long before he was famous, and you know it. So none of these things are really that much of a surprise, because when you're like a predator like that doesn't just like pop up overnight and only happen with Cassie. You have like a history of that. That's who you are. You're a shitty person.
I mean, the stuff that happened with Kim Porter, like it's all horrible. So answer to your question, Antoine. It looks like there's some unnamed sources telling Rolling Stone and CNN in New York, and federal investigators are closing in on Combs following 8 civil lawsuits filed against him since November.
Okay.
So possibly federal. Then there was something else I was going to say about the Puffy stuff.
His security guards are gonna spill. Gene Deal is always telling his business. And what's the name of the other security guard? The one that Cassie named in her lawsuit that said that he was basically the only one who really tried to help her. But she named him as one of the people who tried to help her. I can't remember his name right now. Something with R, Ron something maybe. They're gonna come forward. And
definitely.
Yeah.
Danielle looks so cute. She could be in like Bridgerton right now. I'm sorry, I just got distracted.
I agree.
Yeah. Full agreement. Yes.
Cutie pie.
I agree as well.
Actually, Danielle and I did go to a Bridgerton exhibition. We have to have those pictures available one time when Bridgerton.
I love that. That's cute.
Yeah.
I saw the Los Bridgerton bus stop thing in Spain.
Were you throwing shade at J-Lo? Sarah?
No, it's literally in Spain. Like when you see stuff and it's like Los Bridgertons, and I'm like, is it Los Bridgertons?
I just thought since everybody else is throwing shade at her, I thought maybe.
Antoine, I was going to save that for Monday. Okay.
No necesito hablar español. Cuando los otros escriben todos la música. Los hits.
I understood all that.
No necesito hablar español.
Okay.
Can we highlight Lisa's comment real quick on Puffy though? Because that's hysterical.
God. I feel like I can speak Spanish better than her.
Lisa said, fun fact, Puffy, because he had braces and his mouth lips were swollen and torn down.
Oh my God. Jesus. I thought of a labia for some reason when you said that.
Okay.
Like a pussy that's been beat up really badly, like from a gangbang. That's what I thought of. I don't know. Yeah, y'all talking about whole bags and nut and shit. That's why my mind is thinking this way tonight.
You could have said overuse. You don't have to say gangbang. Like, Jesus.
We keep it real over here.
Yeah. Crescent overuse.
Meanwhile, in the chat, everyone is talking about how gorgeous Danielle looks. So, let's elevate.
Bienvenidos.
Okay.
I'm trying to remember how to say Madness Collective in Spanish. El Colectivo Loco.
Just in case you're not in on the inside joke that we're doing right now with those whole Spanish shit in J-Lo, is because
yes, they are. We talked about it on the show.
Did you guys talk about though?
I think we did.
Part, or was it just Ben Affleck part?
No, we talked about the Ben Affleck one, and we played clips of that motherfucker just outspeaking her ass. Just, magnifico. ¿Cómo se dice? Bitch ass nigga in español, por favor. ¿Cómo se dice?
So,
he was like, he pulled out the ideals meal. He had all of it. Can I
say how sexy that made him? I was like, I know you look all the time, but I was like, you know what, Ben? I don't know if y'all really about to break up.
Ben is sexy without speaking the Spanish, to be fair. That fucking jaw, you could cut butter with it.
He be doing it in bed and she don't even understand him.
What'd you say? Sorry, Sarah?
I said he be doing it in bed and she don't even understand him. she like, okay, Puffy.
Tetas so hermosa. She be like, what the fuck you say?
Mas.
So there's the Ben Affleck J-Lo like Spanish conversation. Then there's the Sterling and J-Lo, and then who's the other actor that's in the film that they're doing right now?
It's the dude from Shang-Chi and Barbie, the Asian guy.
Yeah. So they're doing, they're doing the rounds, the PR rounds, and online right now is that Sterling is shading the fuck out of her because he keeps dropping, like Ben does, he keeps dropping all this Spanish. So we're gonna have to play a couple of those clips on Monday, but moving on. Speaking of celebrities, so you guys know how children love to perform, right? Like not all, but some really love to do that. And ideally, parents do, what they can to get their children lessons and training. Just because if your child is showing, an appetite for this, then you're like, you know what? Let me scrape together some dollars just in case, like shit is tight. But this seems to be a dream of yours. So let me do what I can to prepare you to do that. And other parents fuck tons of money so they can easily fucking get you all the lessons and training you could ever want. Right. So Northwest performed I Can't Wait to Be King at the Hollywood Bowl.
I have a clip.
While wearing a yellow hoodie. Oh, you have the clip ready?
Yeah, I have a clip. I'm just gonna start playing it and then switch over. And Chicago's own Jason Weaver, y'all get the tail end of him. Crescent hates him for some reason, but we're gonna get into some Jason Weaver.
Northwest. Let's go!
They teach her the fucking choreography.
Walk around.
Child, I done seen enough. I don't need to see no more. That was. You know what? I thought it wasn't that bad when I watched it initially. Now upon second watch, because these niggas are on stage, it looked like somebody spent a lot of time putting them costumes together. These people done worked their asses off learning the choreography. And she's just up there doing a little Diddy bop the whole time. And it looks like a last minute. What is it when you have The Apprentice, when the actual actor gets sick?
The
understudy. This feels like an understudy stood in an understudy who was absent most of the time.
And who didn't get fitted for the real outfit.
Yeah. And, and again, to be fair, this is a situation where adults are supposed to prepare you if you're capable of being prepared. Some of us know amount of preparation. I can't never act like Danielle or I can't be a lawyer. Like there are things that ain't for me that I can't do. So, this ain't for her. And that's okay.
Wait.
That's okay.
Danielle, lovely gowns.
Lovely gowns, beautiful gowns. Beautiful gowns. So I actually know of someone who worked on it, and I would have been able to go to see it live, but I was going out of town that day. And so apparently the person who worked on it was like, yeah, unfortunately she can't sing or dance. Oh, and she's playing. I was like, who's she playing? She can't be playing. This is before the person said who she was playing. I was like, she can't be playing. That's a hard show to do. And they said that Kanye was kind of a
tiger dad,
and Kim was very sweet. So I'm thinking this was all Kanye's idea. That was his idea about the costume, because there ain't no fucking way.
I agree with
that. Come on.
Yeah.
They had real, actual costumes. Kim would have put
Total
her in
costume designer.
that had to be Kanye's idea.
It came off to me like, what is this? The yay line or whatever? The yee line or whatever? Like, it looks like why don't you put on those stupid fucking boot things too that look like a Lego character? You didn't want to put those on her feet? Like, I was just like, look, I saw The Lion King in person before years ago when they first started doing stuff. They came to Providence. I went with my mom. That was one of the best plays I've ever seen in my life, okay? I was like so taken back. Like, I'm like, how the hell do you do a stampede on stage like that? That's how. The costumes were amazing, like the makeup, everything about the costume and the makeuping and everything was incredible. You get this, that honestly, like when I watch the video, I mean, look, I know some of these people sound entitled, but still, sometimes they're still right. And when I watch the video of that lady talking about her daughter was one of the last three, because I actually had seen that video before you guys put this on the show flow, talking about her daughter was one of the final three, and and then they had heard some whispers about some celebrity kid, and then all of a sudden in walks Kim and Northwest, and that's what it looks like. It looks like they literally like went from paying the guy off in the room straight to the stage in the sweatsuit from Your Father's Line. Like, it was very confusing to me. Like, what the hell do they have that kid in? And she just, I don't like to make fun of kids. I'm not going to go trash her online and do all this, but yeah, Northwest went south. It wasn't good. And it is a shame when there are talented kids out there who are being denied opportunities so that you can pay for your little Nepo baby in her sweatsuit to get up there and I can't wait to begin. It's like, did anybody even like do a warm up with her before she hit the stage? They took her right out of bed in the sweatsuit, put a fur line, and popped her on stage.
But what if this was after coaching? What if this was after lessons? Like, this is the best.
And she got to learn how to do math, honey.
Yeah, that you're ever gonna get, and yeah, that's scary. That's scary.
STEM, baby, STEM.
Go ahead, Sarah. I mean, sorry, not Sarah. Danielle.
What it looks like to me is that she has tons of personality. And,
definitely.
She's like a charming kid, and, she has presence, but it doesn't seem like she's been taking acting classes. She hasn't been taking voice classes. So it looks like she just let her jump into it. And I feel like that's sort of a problem with a lot of these stage productions and Broadway shows, like another Broadway show. I'm not going to name the name, but apparently the lead in that, they found this young girl on TikTok, and like that doesn't translate to stage.
It doesn't.
Just because someone has personality on this little bitty box on the screen, and they have all these followers. Like even performing on camera and on TV is way different than performing on stage.
Yeah.
Doing the whole show through and having and maintaining energy and maintaining that presence and being able to capture the audience. Like that's a whole different beast, and that takes work and training and like discipline. And you can't just throw somebody into that. That's not fair to that child, I think. And I think they just weren't being fair to that kid. Like, I'm sorry. And the way y'all dragged Blue Ivy for when she was dancing in blue was like, y'all talking about me? I'm going to get better. I hope that happens with North. I hope she gets a hold of this and goes and works and gets better because she has potential.
Yeah,
so,
I agree.
Danielle, I know what production you're talking about. And apparently the young lady she can sing, but just because you can sing does not mean you can do a Broadway show, at least on the level of which, the talent and the skill and the from here to the back of the fucking room requires and keeping up with the vets. So, growth. I saw it. Here's the thing, because North actually didn't mind her on her father's track, her rhyming. I was like, oh, okay, actually it sounds like you've been putting in a little bit of work. Like, I was like, all right, I wasn't mad at that. So when I initially saw it, I was like, okay. And then that note came out and I was like, oh, okay. So not so much. This is different. And I took offense just because of exactly what Danielle said, given that, especially living in Los Angeles and myself, friends, all of us who have done at different times, some of us still very much in it, auditioning, trying to do all the things to make a living out of this. And I know, and granted, I'm an adult, but it was just disrespectful. And I fully blame Kim and Kanye, like 100%. But I was just like, this is not fucking Indiana, right? This ain't some community fucking theater shit. This ain't like, some shit at the grade school where, sure, whatever. Like, this is a big ass stage. This is a Hollywood Bowl. So, sorry, baby girl. Some of these kids since 2. Somebody opened, they were like, oh, my toddler can sing. Let me get you. You know what I mean? Like, they've been at it. So, you know what I'm saying? So by the time they're 9 or 10, can sing somebody underneath the fucking table. I was not happy about any of that.
It all requires a different skill set. It's almost like people think that because a person is charismatic that can translate into everything. You can take some of the best comedians on the planet and they can be the center of attention. It could be 15,000 people in a stadium and they can control the vibe in that whole arena. But then you take Chris Rock and you put him in a movie, he can't. That's not shade towards him. We can't be good at everything. The fact that you can command an audience by yourself with a microphone and keep them fucking titillated for a whole hour and a half, nigga, you already impressed me with that. So when you try the other thing and it don't work, it's okay. I'm going to clown you a little bit, but I can't clown you for the other thing you can do. So people think all these skill sets can translate in the same way because with this, you need to have stage presence. You need to know how to sing. You need to enunciate. You need to know how to act. And you need to know how to dance. You have to have confidence. And out of all of those things, she has the confidence. She's got a decent amount of stage presence. But the other 11 things are not there.
Yeah, people aren't paying all that money and stuff to go and see that. They're not paying that money. Like when you go to a Broadway show, you expect a certain caliber. And that's not it. And talking about like, local shows. I mean, I went to a local thing in San Diego when I was there for a weekend, and those kids were phenomenal. There was even musicals. They went to Harvard Westlake. They wrote their own. I mean, I know they're not 10, but I'm just saying, like, people put the work in. So I understand why not just the kids, but their parents are upset when they're paying that money for those classes to make sure that they can sing and do all the things. And then it's like, you're also just messing with people because those 3 kids that were like about to be in it. And then they're like, psych, we're going to put Northwest in her sweatsuit. Like, yeah, you're just messing with those kids. Like you're messing with their emotions and you're showing them that their hard work doesn't matter because if you just have like a parent in the biz, you can just get paid to go on stage, even if you're not very good.
Yeah.
Same rich actress, titillated too is one of my favorite words.
I've been saying it way too much. I literally say it every episode now.
Danielle, were you about to say something?
school dropout.
I was just saying, just speaking about taking people and transferring that that presence and energy. Like I love this actress on stage, not on stage, on camera, on TV and film. I really enjoy her work, and I saw her in a play for Color Girls, and I was like, oh, she's not a stage actress. Like, it's not translating. Like, I really enjoy her other work, and everything she does is solid. It's a different thing. Like, her voice didn't project the way, I mean, I'm not talking about her acting necessarily. It just, her presence, it wasn't what I'm used to seeing her as, like her strong presence and, like, you know, and her characters and all of that. And I was like, oh yeah, it just doesn't always translate. Like, and I could tell. I don't know if other people could, but you can't just throw people in shit. It doesn't always work.
No.
Like, and the transition from either TV to stage or stage to TV, because when I started acting, it was on stage. And so when it was time to do camera work, they were like, okay, I'm gonna need you to be here, not here. Because for the stage, it is big movements. It's voice. It's like coming from your gut. Camera's like, you got a microphone right here, baby girl. You don't need to do that. You know, there is a transition, and you do have to put in the work to do that. So
no one wants to hear you hitting wrong keys.
It's easier to take it down.
Yeah. Yes.
It's easier to take it down from stage to camera than it is to take it up. It takes more work to take it up and out. So
that makes sense.
Right. Yeah. Oh, fun times. I don't know I think Kim has given up on the law school stuff. I saw that in something I was reading. I think.
Just stop hearing about it, I guess. Yeah.
She's in the current season of what's the horror show?
Oh, American Horror Story. Delicate. American Horror Story Delicate. That's the one with Emma Roberts is in it too. I love her. She's a good actress.
And they're doing a actors on actors, you know, kind of conversation. And she and Chloe are paired up for that.
Her sister Chloe?
No, Chloe. How do you say her last name?
It's Chloe 70. I love her.
So
I literally looked her up on YouTube to watch her say her own name so that I would know how to fucking pronounce it, because I loved her. She is the best actress on Big Love. She kills it on that show. Yeah, she kills it on Big Love. Yeah.
You see, I stopped. I was like, I'm not gonna fuck up her last name. So. I was like, I ain't gonna do it. So, you know, you got other actors, and you have Chloe and Kim.
That's insulting. That's insulting. The caliber of actress to me that Chloe is, for her to sit there with Kim Kardashian. I don't know. I just like her as an actress. Danielle, what were you about to say?
Well, sometimes they pair like someone who has been in the industry longer. Like sometimes they pair those kind of people up, and it's not always someone equal. So that makes hopefully sense. That's what it is.
Well, whether that was their intention or not,
interested in watching that, because that's
whether that was their intention or not, that's what happened.
At this stage, Kim seems to be this whole I'm gonna try this, and there's an element of it that I get, right? Like, if there's things that you genuinely like, look, at some point I would like to actually DJ. I love music. I like DJing. I don't know if I ever have time to do it. So I'm not saying that you can't decide to kind of explore different facets of you, but you getting on my nerves a little bit with some of this. So that law school thing, I did feel some kind of way about. So not law school, because she wasn't going to law school, the trying to be a lawyer part, but okay, Kim, whatever. Just please don't put your child in a situation like this again. That's all I'm gonna say about that.
I'll tell you, I must have missed the part where the album Northwest is dropping is Elementary School Dropout. I must have missed it when we talked about that, because
we never mentioned the name of it, but I did read that that's what the title was supposed to be, which is a terrible message to send. Please change the title of the album.
Homage to her father, but like, elementary school dropout
No.
is not cute.
No.
And then when she got on stage and act like that, you're like, well, she didn't drop out of
That ain't
elementary
it.
school. No one should be surprised. She's not even doing music classes anymore. Like, I don't love it. I thought it was like a joke. I had to like go and into the rabbit hole because I was like, what a funny, silly little joke. I was like, wait, I don't know if this is a joke. Is this real? And then I was like, oh God, this is real. Oh God.
Yeah. I mean, Kim wouldn't let North go to her father's school, which, which is now defunct, right?
Good
So,
decision.
That was a good decision.
Good parenting.
We gonna move on because I got a booty call.
Yeah, thanks.
Actually, we do have 2 more, but I need to push those to Monday because you got a booty call. I need to get up and move around. I'm mostly back, but I'm not quite back at 100. So, so the American Airlines lawsuit we're gonna talk about on Monday, and then Josh Gibson and the MLB and Negro League we'll talk about on Monday. So I'm happy to be back. I really did miss you guys, Sarah, Danielle, Antoine. Again, thank you so much for holding it down.
Thank you. I went on a rabbit hole on that too, so I'm sorry I won't be here to go over all the MLB things I learned today. But,
yeah.
Oh no,
so it's a good rabbit hole. The MLB stuff.
Yeah.
It is good. It's good stuff that we'll talk about Monday. That's good stuff.
How rich the actor's gonna say no 2 more hours? Girl, bye. And
That's 2 more. Definitely not that.
I told my mom, I was like, we'll be doing the show from 7 to 8. She's like, then she paused. She was like, it's not 3 hours, and I was like,
honestly, we can't go that long, Rich, anyway, because like if Antoine doesn't get to his booty call soon, he end up there. Diddy's already there. You know what I mean? So you gotta be careful. You know what I mean?
Diddy over there dripping wet, just covered in nut and hoe bags.
You can never be too careful these days.
I don't know if y'all saw Shabazz's comment. Shabazz's comment that everybody likes the ninjas. Again, an answer to Danielle's question.
Oh my goodness.
So thank you guys for tuning in. Like I said, I missed you guys. I will be back Monday. I'm back. I'm officially back. So mostly. But yes, I'll be back on Monday. Yes. Thank you. And look, our foursome, we made it through. We got to get this audio with the foursome together, but we did it. We did it. Yay. High five.
Yeah.
We did it.
I might have to start unplugging my router and plugging it back in every week because that had been fixed. But at least it only happened to one person this time. I don't think we ain't seen Danielle's mouth move with the sound coming out of it correctly in a month.
Yeah.
We go get it together. We go get you there, girl. We go figure out why it's affecting you more than anybody else.
Well, yes, thank you.
It might be me and my old ass computer.
We'll figure it out.
All right. Love you guys.
Toodles to you niggas.
Happy June.
It's today. What is today? Friday?
Tomorrow's June.
Is it Friday?
Thank you,
I
Sarah.
have
It's
no
Friday.
idea what day of the week it is. Toodles to you niggas.